Welcome, everybody, to our first episode of Divinely Human, our weekly show we're going to be doing on Thursdays at 10 p.m. Spanish time, which is GMT plus 1, in which we'll be just having conversations with interesting people, which ends up being everybody. So we'll just find people to talk about, and just figure out, what is it that they like, what they don't like, what type of life they have. And, to the extent, just a little conversation. And we'll have little segments and stuff to change it up and stuff and to make it fun. And we hope you like it. Our first guest, he was brave enough to take this challenge, and his name is Edgar. Some of you people here in chat might know him as Clutch Pentakill, which I would like to ask you a little bit about that name, because we also work on video games and we're passionate about that in this community. So it's always good to hear our connection, each of us, with video games and what we love to do. But yeah, without further ado, do you want to introduce you in some way, Edgar, or say something? So he's from Portugal, by the way. And
yeah, I'm from Portugal. I live about 40 minutes from Fatima, for those who know the miracles of Fatima as well. My name is Edgar. I'm 23. Right now I'm doing tech support. And well, that's it. I'm a convert, not yet baptized, getting baptized in April. Glory be to God. So a bit of a story there too that we'll get certainly to talk about today, and a bit to unravel. That's awesome. It. I'm not much of anyone. Thank God. I don't wish to be. So as long as I get to be here and talk with you guys, I'll be just fine.
Yeah, there we go. And just also to the people watching this on YouTube, as you can see, we'll have chat here. We have some people from our community. We have Mel, we have Chizo. People who have been with us for a while. We have here Lucar too, as well, from saying hello from Algarve, which is, I believe, where you're from in Portugal, correct?
That's actually my dad.
Yeah, awesome. Look at that. Welcome, Dad. And
hey, Dad. Welcome.
Look at that. And that's awesome. So yeah, we'll be also interacting with chat here. If anybody in chat, like Chiso, Mel, anybody that shows up, has any questions or has any comments, this is all a community effort. This is all just hanging out together. Today we're just singing along Edgar, because we have him here. He's our guest, so we're gonna do our best to be welcoming to him. And yeah, Chizo here is already mentioning that Fatima is his favorite. I've actually never been to Fatima. I mean, I actually never done really a pilgrimage like that. I remember as a kid, I did the Camino de Santiago, but I was really young. I didn't know what was going on really, and it was fun and all. But yeah, I feel like I never appreciate. I've never had a serious pilgrimage in which you're taking it seriously. So when you've been to Fatima, have you done that before or after your conversion? You know what I'm saying? Has it, or both, or how's that been?
So the first time I went to Fatima, I think I was about 13. So I definitely wasn't Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
I was 11 actually, and I'm thinking about it. So my grandpa had passed away, and my grandmother asked my father to take her to Fatima just to, I guess, pay whatever promise she had made.
Okay.
So we went there. I don't remember much, but I know I didn't enjoy it per se. Fatima has, for those who don't know, where you burn the candles, it's like open air. So
okay,
it's very hot, and you see all the flames and everything. It can be kind of weird at first for someone that doesn't really understand the meaning behind it.
Got it.
So my first impression wasn't definitely great.
Right.
After that, the second time that I went, I was already with my fiance.
Lovely.
And went there just to take a walk. To be honest, she goes there often. She went there often. She worked there actually as well in those little gift shops.
Oh wow!
Around the sanctuary. So we went there. So I think she wanted to go to mass for some reason, or just show me around, and I loved it at first. But I wasn't Catholic yet. I wasn't even thinking about becoming Catholic yet.
Right.
And a few years later, which would be 2 years ago, I did a pilgrimage there.
Oh, nice.
But I kind of counted as a fake pilgrimage because it was 25 kilometers. I didn't do 3 days walking or whatever. It was just 7 hours, if I'm not mistaken. I built a little wooden cross. I built a little wooden cross at home back in the Algarve with my dad, who's in chat. I built a little cross, and I placed a rope around it, and I carried it all the way to Fatima.
Oh, wow. So you actually made a commitment and stuff.
Cross, but yeah.
No, but that's already like a commitment, yeah.
Exactly, as a sign of me carrying my own cross, literally.
Wow, I love that.
And when I got there, I gave it as an offering to Our Lady. started crying, bawling my eyes out. I'm not a huge crier, but started crying, bawling my eyes out. And my brother-in-law that went with us, he was like, "Oh, why are you crying?" And now I
Oh.
can remember just my fiance saying, "Shut up, let me just enjoy the moment," like he was just doing it. And it was an amazing experience. It was very, not just physically but
Right.
mentally. But the moment that you just say, "God, I'm here. I'm in pain, but I trust you. I know I'll be fine." We were walking in the dark. We started at 5 p.m., got there around midnight.
Wow.
So we were walking in the dark in the middle of the woods, just with our little phones as a flashlight. My toes were just bleeding all over because I was wearing new shoes, because I'm very smart, as you can see, wearing new shoes to a pilgrimage.
Another
So my
cross.
was bleeding. I had cuts everywhere, but I was just praying in my head, "Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner. I trust you, Lord. I trust you, Lord. I trust you, Lord." And just keep walking and walking and walking. So
Right.
that was very impactful. But obviously that was after my conversion, so I already had a
Yeah.
huge walk until there. But it was amazing, and I can recommend everyone. Obviously, if you go from Granada to Fatima, it will be a long walk,
That would be
really
a walk.
long.
Yeah, that would be a walk. I mean, yeah, that's what I love too about the like pilgrimages. Like that's what I want to do because it's like it really changes when you do it consciously, and when you do it consciously because it has that physicality to it. Like you're doing it with your body. You're there present physically, but you are there spiritually. You because you've made it a conscious unification of your spiritual and your physical like experience of it. It gives so much weight to both. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you've joined this experience instead, like the fact that you can picture this moment like your feet hurting and all of this that goes together with that kind of spiritual pain that you offer up to God. So it's like it's a beautiful thing that you join them together, and that's what I see in pilgrimages. That is very interesting. All right, so let's see. Oh, we have here a question from Jesus. Says, heck, can you technically trek from Europe to Golgotha? Technically, actually, there is a woman from my hometown. I don't know her personally, but somebody was telling me that in the parish that did a walk from Granada, like walking. She went from walking from Granada all the way to Holy Land, and she, I guess she became like famous in the sense of like people in the parish know her because of that, because she's like that is a remarkable pilgrimage, and yeah, I don't know the reason behind it, but yeah, the walking on the knees is that true?
Yeah. So you have
Yes.
a little. So you have in Fatima, you have a main square. You
Uh-huh.
have the old church. You have a little sanctuary dedicated to Our Lady where the appearings happen.
Right.
And then you have a newer church down the square. It's like a square. It's probably like a kilometer long.
Okay.
And around the square, you have this path that's made with, I guess, stone instead of being just like cement or whatever.
Gotcha.
And smoother where people do walk on their knees, if they
Wow.
need a promise, because I think that's part of the promise.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So the tradition around here is that, imagine you say, "Our Lady, if next year I pass my exams, I'll walk
Oh.
to Fatima, okay, and I'll walk 10 times around the sanctuary on my knees, or I'll
Oh wow, people
kneel."
do that. Oh wow.
Yeah, and that's usually what happens around here.
Oh,
I'm not
interesting.
sure if it's common across the country or across Europe or whatever
Right, right,
reason
right.
where people follow
But
Fatima,
I
but
have heard something similar. I didn't know if it was specific Fatima, or not, but somebody in my parish did something like that. I didn't know it worked like with a promise or something like that. But it makes sense that at the end of the day, it's like another like thing that in culture it becomes part of it. It's like people want to do these things, and then it become kind of like
yeah.
a tradition or a habit and things like that. But yeah, I wanna ask you a little bit more about yourself. This Fatima stuff is interesting, but I wanna know a little bit about you. So you are from, as your father was mentioning here, from Algarve, right, in Portugal. So can you tell us a little bit of, because you grew up there since you were a kid and stuff, right? So what was that like?
Yeah.
What is that town like? Because I'm picturing, because I don't know much about Portugal. I'm thinking Portugal is like colorful coastal towns. Is that the vibe of Algarve, or what is that like?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, Algarve is the main place for tourism, so it's
Oh,
the
okay,
most
okay.
place. It's the only region in Portugal where the second most common nationality is in either Brazilian or Angolan. The second most common nationality is actually British.
Oh, that's
Uh,
then you know it's a good tourist place. If the British have
yeah,
taken over.
like, I was raised in a small town. It was about 30,000 people.
Okay.
Not one of the smallest in Algarve, but it's extremely quiet. It's a fisherman town.
Oh, lovely.
I live in mostly the family part because it's divided into two parts. One where mostly Portuguese and families grow, and another that's
Okay.
mostly for tourism, which has like all the boats and the marina and the clubs and the expensive restaurants. And then you walk
Right.
100 meters to the left, and you're just like at school or whatever, just chilling.
Nice.
But it was great. I loved it there. Obviously, the weather is fantastic. It's super calm and chill in the winter. The people are very warm there. It's not like in Lisbon. I lived in Lisbon for 3 years, and that was one of the things that mostly bothered me at
Okay.
first. People are so cold in bigger cities.
Ah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
but in the Algarve, like it's just another vibe. You're
Yeah.
just chilling there. Like there's just beach. In the winter, there's no one, there's nothing to do. So what you do, you grab your friends and you go to McDonald's, grab a couple drinks, and go to the skate park or whatever.
Right.
But I did love. I lived there for 19 years, I guess, 18 years until I went to college.
Right.
And I wouldn't change it for anywhere else in the world, to be honest.
Damn, yeah, that sounds lovely. Because even like, I mean, I don't know exactly. Like, how many people would you say, like in your town, the fishermen's town, like how many, like ballpark of how many people were like inhabitants of a population? Is what I mean, like more or less.
30K,
Like how many?
30K, 30,000.
30,000. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, like because Granada, where I'm from, it's like it's not big. Obviously, it's not Madrid or anything like that, but it's a little bit bigger. So it's like it's definitely more tourist and stuff. So it's like it's similar to what you're talking about, but
Yeah,
but I see how even there, like if it would have been smaller, I would have had more of what you're talking about, that chill experience. Because even
yeah.
within Granada, it's like I still felt a bit of that urban lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Of like just like very like you're in the city and things are moving a little bit more. And I mean maybe it was just the people I was hanging out with and everything. But that sounds lovely when I picture that of like a much more relaxed and you don't worry about things as much, right? I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually there's a little joke that below Lisbon no one works, but go to the Alentejo, which is the rural region of Portugal,
Uh huh.
which is 99% empty,
Okay.
uh, and the Algarve they say like we don't work, so
Ah,
everything's
nice.
chill. There's like if we have a meeting at 10, I'll be there at like 10:30, and
Yeah, what's the
we
rush? What's the rush? What are we meeting about anyway? You know what I'm saying?
I think my main criteria here is if you have to take like public transport
Uh-huh.
anywhere, you're not in a small town, like chill. If you have to take a bus or
Right.
whatever, like
Exactly. That is a good
never took a bus
distinction.
in my life when I lived in Algarve. Never. There were two buses, one at 8 a.m. and another at 6 p.m. Like nothing else.
Wow.
So
Yeah. That's also you would
every
walk everywhere basically, right?
yeah, we just walk everywhere. We walk maybe
That's
like
awesome.
8 kilometers in a day, but we just walk everywhere.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. And then you went to college at 18. Where did you go to college?
I did law school for 3 years. Then I dropped out. Sorry, Dad. But
I mean, in this day and age, I mean, I
I
should
do
have
a good
dropped out and all the money because I went to an American college, so that I should have dropped out.
yeah, yeah. It's a bit more expensive.
No, yeah, that was not that was a scam. Let's just speak straight. No, but yeah, no, that's lovely. So then, did you know like okay? So how deep into the school did you drop out? Like, were you in second year, third year, or
I was on my third year.
third
Yeah.
year? Okay, so how did you come to that? Because then I assume your first year you weren't thinking of dropping out or anything like that. Was that like?
So my first year was amazing. I joined in 2019. I'm 23. I joined with 18. So in 2019, and I had like great grades, great networking. I was in like all the associations, like bright future ahead. Everything went well. Then COVID came.
Ah,
COVID came, and when we lost all that connection, because
ah,
and I speak we because I have friends that are in the same situation.
right, right.
When we stopped getting together to grab a coffee and then go study at 3 a.m., order Pizza Hut, and then whatever, everything started to slow down and not going so great. And after COVID, it was almost impossible to catch that up again. And I started to lose a lot of interest in not what law is,
Right.
but more about the society around it.
Hmm.
Because it was extremely toxic and competitive, and wasn't really something that I was willing to say, okay, let me stab my friend in the back just so I can get a better grade, or let me stab my friend in the back just so I can get ahead in an internship. I'm
Yeah.
not like that, especially after studying my conversion. I'm not going to be like that for sure. And I started to find it hard to match those two things: being a moral human being
Uh-huh.
and being in law society,
Right. No,
because you
I
have to do a lot of things that don't really match with the Catholic faith and with human morale in the general.
yeah, and with a happy life at the end of the day. I can definitely relate to this, and I recall because I think we talked a little bit about this when we first met, where, like, over the internet, like with the stream stuff. But yeah, because it's like my experience in finance was similar in that
Yeah.
sense, in which it's like you just feel this like palpable emptiness, but it's like kind of like it's filled with so much noise. Like, and again, I don't even think it's with bad intent, because we all kind of caught up in the same whirlwind in which everybody's just competing in a very civil way. Like everybody's just trying to get up, but it's not like they're trying to get you down. It's more like they just need to get up, and if they need to step on you, it's just fine. Like it's kind of in a polite way. Like, I just gotta get ahead. And it's like, but it creates this disconnect, because it creates this sense. Like to me, at least, it felt like it created a sense that you believe that every interaction was like, it makes you cynical, and you think like there's no real human connection, and then you interact with other people that way too, as if every interaction is just some type of charade that we put up to just get what we want in some way or another. And because we're in the midst of it, or at least that's how I felt, like you cannot tell yourself that that's not really why, that you do have that connection. But exactly, when you, like, I didn't have the opportunity to experience it through cover center, but I can see how a cut like that like makes you kind of realize that those experiences within that society, it's like kind of like they were, yeah, not genuine in that sense. And what it does to you, the toxicity, like you say, because that's what it kind of define a toxic thing, right? Like it's not just that it's contaminated in itself, it's that it contaminates every other part of your life, right?
Yeah. I think it got to a point where when someone got close to me, I wasn't sure if, are you my friend, or are you
Mm,
just one in this world, or do you just like need whatever I have? Are you like
right.
failing with class and you need something, or you see that
Yeah.
I'm like good friends with this professor or whatever? And it's started to be, and to be honest, a lot of those things got proven along the way. So as time passed, a lot of people that I knew wouldn't care anymore, didn't care
Didn't care.
anymore. Thank God for those experiences as well, because they do open your eye and you start being able to see what's genuine in a lot of people's actions, for sure.
Yeah, that makes sense. We got here Chizo and Mel that want to move to Algarve, so you're gonna have to find a house for them.
Don't, please don't, because housing is super expensive there. And the reason why, because you guys keep moving and buying all the houses are expensive, and then we go broke.
They're gonna make second population Americans instead of British. Nah, but they have that conquering spirit. That's the mind of the empire. Nah, just joking here. But we have here Mark too, who just joined. We have Mark here who just joined. Then they watch Gabriel Cordero on his Católico. There you go. Or Católicing on his Cordero. We don't know which one we're gonna do this time. We got here Edgar, who I don't know if you recognize Mark as Clutch Pentakill in the chat, our Saint Pantaleon in our Discord community, which is a good segue to that, because I wanted to ask you. So you've mentioned before that one of your favorite saints is Saint Pantaleon the Fourth, right? So and there's some people in the community from the American standpoint that have this thing that I, at least in Spain, we didn't have. I don't know if you can speak to of it, but like we didn't have like a confirmation saint. Like when I got confirmed, I didn't have to choose something like that. Do you now that because you will get confirmed soon, right? Is that something that you do in Portugal as well? No, right?
I think that's an American thing. I think that's just American peace tradition. I asked my priest, and he was like, "I've never heard of that in my life."
Oh, okay. But I did like the concept, because I do feel like, for example, a deep connection in that sense with Saint Benedict, for example, like the surfing. So I would like to know a little bit more about why Saint Pantaleon the Fourth. How did you come about knowing him or learning about him, and what attracted you and attracts you about him? In that sense, like what do you find remarkable and something worth
So
exploring?
I'll be honest. first of all, Saint Pantaleon is a saint. The fourth comes from Baldwin the Fourth, so it's two different things.
I messed it
Just
up.
to
I'm sorry. Yeah. My ignorance is showing up, which is this is a great way for us to tell people that I don't know who Saint Pantaleon is. So we need Edgar to explain it to all of us.
Okay, I'll be honest at 1st. I'm pretty sure that the first time I've heard of Saint Pantaleon, I just searched Google for like cool saints names so I could put it on my Minecraft character.
God's ways are mysterious.
And I was just scrolling, and I was like, "Hey, like this is super cool." Oh, okay. So a little bit of a segue, just before that, because my name on another account in Minecraft was Palaemon, which is a Greek god.
Okay.
I was like, okay, now I'm Catholic.
Okay, we gotta switch it up. Leave the pagan stuff behind, right?
Here, you see? So it's just like cool saints names. And I was like, oh, Pantaleon, I've never heard of him. And I started searching, and I found like his story so funny and cool. You want me to tell?
Yeah, tell the story, because tell the story, please. You know, whatever length you want. We got time, so. And I find it interesting. Now I'm recalling a little bit. I think you told me, but yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I did send it on Discord.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So pretty much Saint Pantaleon was the son of a rich trader, if I'm not mistaken, a rich person.
Okay,
Nicodemia. And he went to school, not really school, like apprenticeship, because didn't have schools back then. He lived in the century. So he went to apprenticeship to become a medic, let's say a doctor, not really like a physician. Back then they were called physicians. He was extremely wealthy, and he became Catholic because his mother was Catholic. And then after she died, he fell a bit he fell off a bit. He went a bit away from the church.
Got it.
But he sold everything that he had, donated to the poor, and started in the name of Jesus. And it's like curing blindness, and people were walking and everything. And the emperor took notice and said, "Hey, or you literally say that Jesus is not God and not your savior, or we're going to kill you."
Right. He had to renounce the faith, right?
He said, "I'm not going to renounce my faith. I'm based. I'm here." So they tried to kill him. I'm not sure about the order, but they tied a stone to him and threw him in the river. The stone floated. They tried to cut his head. The sword broke. They tried to pour molten lead on him, and the lead was cooled off.
That's amazing.
They threw him to the beast, and the beast only went away once he blasted them. A bunch of attempts to kill him, and none of them worked until he cried to the sky, saying, "Lord, forgive them," and Jesus appeared, and he got beheaded. So he's one of all of the early church martyrs. He's also part of the 14 healers, if I'm not mistaken. There's like those early church
those
groups.
that had that gift, right, of healing and stuff.
Yeah, and so that's how he became a saint by martyrdom. And I just found it so funny, like the amount of times that they tried to kill him and just didn't work. I'm just trying to imagine, like, people,
right, the frustration, right? How do you even still deny that this guy's telling the truth?
And I thought it was just that was really cool. But funny thing is, after I started reading more about Saint Pantaleon, I actually found that he was originally the patron saint of Porto in Portugal, the second biggest city in Portugal. We actually had his head, I think.
Like the relic of it.
Yeah, as a relic, exactly.
Wow.
But I don't think it's there anymore. Should be somewhere in
I mean, it's a lot of years. It's remarkable that has like made it even that long. But yeah, it actually reminds me, because one of the things that really I found interesting about Saint Benedict, even though I keep learning more about it, I actually want to read the biography that Saint Gregory the Great, the Pope, wrote about Saint Benedict. But one of the things that I first because I guess that's what it does, so like these cool stories, when it's like the cool stuff kind of stuff attracts you, and then you get more depth out of it. But like there was a point in which Saint Benedict was trying, like his own monks kind of thing of his community that he had started, they were trying to poison him and kill him, right? And it's like they poisoned a bread and they put it in front of his cave or whatever. He was a hermit, and they're trying to kill him, and a bird came and took it away, and then like he couldn't eat it. And then a cup, they put poison in a cup, and then the cup broke when he was gonna drink it. So I love that part. And with this story of Saint Pantaleon, which I didn't know until you introduced me to him, it's so remarkable because what it tells you really more than this guy is cool, what it tells you is that God takes care of you. You know what I'm saying? That's how it feels to me. It's like that it takes away, and it, you know, it's like one thing is to believe it intellectually, and then when you're in the midst of life you might forget and, you know, fall into fear. But that's if you really do believe it and you actually find a way to, through discipline and conversion, to truly believe it. It's like it takes away fear, and the moment you don't have the fear of death, because it's like I will die, there's no denying that, and I will suffer, because there's no denying that, like we all gotta carry our crosses, like you were saying earlier in your about your pilgrimage. But it's kind of like the moment it's, you know, that it's God's will, that it's like, if God doesn't want me dead, I will not die. And if God wants me dead, it's because it's my time. It's kind of like, it makes you free. And then you don't have to worry about protecting yourself or things like that. And I think that's beautiful that you saw that in that saying. And that's a beautiful way to start your conversion, because he kind of, from the beginning, you can always go back to that to take away the fear of any obstacle and things like that. So
yeah, trust. One of my favorite prayers is the litany of trust, just because of that. You know, just put your full trust into Jesus. Put your full trust into God. Like, if God is with me, who's against me, right?
Right.
Trusting God.
Yeah.
What's the Romans verse? It's like, through Him I can do all things, which He strengthens me. I think.
Something
Not always
like that.
true, because in English it's a bit different, obviously.
No, but I think I remember a bit of it. And at the end of the day, paraphrasing is the best way to quote, because it shows that you actually read it, not like people that just memorize it. No, but yeah, it's beautiful. So there's some people here. So there's one thing that I wanted to ask you here, because Mel is bringing up a good point. She's saying that she's gonna move to Algarve and open a Tex-Mex food, right? And she told me about this similar idea about Granada, which I'm not gonna hold against her. Okay, she chose Algarve, that's fine, but I was thinking in Granada it could have some success, like Tex-Mex. Like I see like Mexican food and stuff, but that Tex-Mex like style of things, I feel like. What do you think? Do you think Portuguese people will be open for it?
Yeah, for sure. So we don't have much. I mean, in the Algarve we have a little, but we don't have much like Mexican or American food in Portugal. It's like a couple diners that you go and it's like hamburgers, but you don't have like Southern style barbecue and, you know,
Right.
what's called the crawfish boil or whatever that
Oh yeah,
like
like American like mix and match of cuisines that they do. Yeah.
pretty sure Tex-Mex would be a killer, because all the Algarve has right now is probably like 2 Mexican restaurants, which probably suck, and Taco Bell. And Taco Bell sucks. Let's be honest, guys.
Yeah,
Okay?
Taco Bell sucks all around the world. It's like I feel like they still manage though. It's like because everybody knows that they're gonna suck. It's like they're just gonna go with it. I've never had. Oh, you've never had Taco Bell, Chiso? Is that what you're gonna tell us now?
Never Popeyes or Arby's or whatever.
I actually recently had some Popeyes here, and that kind of blew my mind. I'm like, bro, I remember this chicken being introduced to it in Brooklyn, and now I'm here in Granada eating Popeyes, and I see a Five Guys down the street, and I'm like, what is going on? I went to a Mexican place in Colorado a few times. Okay, nice. Mexican in Colorado. That must be interesting. Those people must be cold. Poor Mexicans up in Colorado. But
I wish we had more like barbecue, you know.
oh
like
yeah.
brisket. I can't even find brisket here.
Oh.
Like there's like even for sale as like raw meat.
Yeah. Like that cut. Yeah, people
like
here
cut,
don't.
exactly.
At least in Spain, people don't really smoke meat, right? Like I've never seen anybody smoke meat here. And I remember going to Austin and go to, I think it's I forgot the name of the place, but it's a famous like brisket, like smoked brisket place, and oh, that blew my mind. Like it's just a different way of making them. It's like it's not like, you know, and you know, both Portugal and Spain have great cuisine and they know how to cook. Like that's not but it's like such a different way to approach it that it just makes it amazing. Oh, Mel
Yes.
said sorry, power went out. Yeah, no, we were just discussing that you might be successful with this Tex-Mex thing in Portugal as well as in Spain. So it's gonna have to be a chain, because you already promised me you're gonna open one in Granada. Now you're saying you're gonna open one in Algarve, and we're gonna fight for you. So you gotta do both. And then Jesus still got about he's fake jambalaya. I don't even know what jambalaya is. Do you know what jambalaya is?
I think jambalaya is also like a cajun, you know, like
Oh,
one
it's
of
like a
those-
Cajun thing. Oh, got it.
Yeah.
They both said it'd be the first customer. It's the European chain. There you go. Oh, she makes a good brisket. There we go.
See?
We're
No,
shipping you
no,
here.
no,
We're
no,
shipping
no.
you here express 2 days.
I wish. Like sometimes I make some like fake, and it's like at a
Just
American
give me
barbecue.
something similar, right? I just wanted
Yeah.
something. You went
There
to
was
a famous
nothing
place in
much.
Austin? Yeah, Blacks. Yeah, Terry Blacks, right? Is it no Terry Black, right? Terry Blacks? Is that the one? But yeah, I went to Blacks. Yeah, something Blacks. And it was delicious. Yeah, I couldn't walk after it. And they had this like blackberry cocktail or something. It was like frozen blackberry like with something. Oh, and that was just the kick to the whole thing. Terry Blacks, yeah, Terry Blacks. Awesome. Awesome. So yeah, no, speaking of food and everything like that, what other places have you been around that you really like recall the food? Because to me, at least, I mean, maybe this is a personal thing, but to me, like the food is really what I usually remember the most. Even though there's like monuments and stuff, and I haven't traveled much, but the food to me, there's something that just tells me about the place a lot. So is there some
Yeah,
place that you recall like that?
I love to cook. I'm the one that
Oh,
cooks at
nice.
home. Not right now because my schedule's kind of messed up.
Gotcha.
But I'm the one that usually cooks. I love to cook. I love to have like people over, like the whole Mediterranean spirit of having the family around and a big table that's filled with food. So in the past 3 years, I went to France. We went to Paris. We went to Madrid. We went to Barcelona, and we went to Athens.
Ooh,
And
nice.
out of those, Athens was amazing because I love gyros, I love the kebabs, I
Oh,
love, the tzatziki and
tzatziki.
the
Yeah, yeah. I have a
wine.
friend who's Greek and he loves all that. Yeah.
Love it. It's just so fresh, and they use a bunch of like cilantro. A lot of people don't like cilantro, but I do it. Like cumins and the herbs and everything was so cheap too. Like with 10 euros, you could get like four gyros,
Wow.
and it was
Yeah.
just amazing. My wife hated it. My fiance, no wife yet. My fiance hated it because she doesn't like cumin, she doesn't like cilantro, she doesn't like kebabs, she doesn't like tzatziki.
Yeah, that makes it
But
hard. Yeah.
yeah, but I loved it. In Paris, we ate mostly at home because Paris is extremely expensive to dine now, to be honest,
Got it.
and we
Got it.
kind of went on a budget. But I'll be honest, Gabriel.
Uh-huh.
As Portuguese, we critique a lot of like Spanish food. Like we don't usually go to Spain to eat a lot.
Okay.
We don't like it much. When I was in Madrid, I hated everything that I tried. Like all the restaurants suck. This Madrid, so I'll take like the it's Madrid specifically,
Okay.
because in Barcelona
Yeah.
everything was great. The butifarra,
Oh.
which is like this sausage, like
Yeah.
typical Barcelona sausage, just I still sometimes have to order it online
Oh.
just to cook it at home because it's amazing. It's
Nah. Yeah.
amazing.
No, but there's a truth to that in the sense like I mean I love all Spanish food obviously because I grew up here, but like if you go to like because Barcelona is nice, but if you go to like San Sebastian, like in the north,
Oh, yeah.
like if you go Bilbao, San Sebastian, even Asturias, like Galicia, like all the north, like band of Spain, they're just amazing, especially with meats. Like
Ethnic foods, like
they
those
just
homemade
have a different
foods.
way. Yeah, and the
Yeah, yeah.
seafood too. They're just classier. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's because they're closer to the French or something. Like they just like I don't know. I'm not gonna attribute to the French. Like let me walk back on that. But they just cook it with so much more class, I guess. Like in the south, you have really great things, and you have things like gazpacho, and you have things like pisto and things like that. It's just
Yeah.
more casual, more southern. You know what I'm saying? More. So it's more
Yeah, yeah.
it's more comfort food. At least that's how I see it. But if you're talking about like good dishes and well done with the tradition stuff, and you go over there and it just blows your mind. So yeah,
It's the same in Portugal, to be honest. I'm not gonna just like talk bad about our hermanos food, but in Portugal, if you go to the south, like where I'm from, the
yeah,
traditional food is grilled fish because it's a fisherman town,
right,
what
right,
you're gonna
right.
if you go to the north, you have like the lamb and heavy stews and goat and whatever. For example, in the zone that I'm right now, the most
Right.
traditional food here it's the lechon de leche, the roast pig, the roast
Oh,
pig.
right, lechon de leche.
So,
Yes.
exactly. So it's amazing. Comfort heavy food. It's more.
Yeah,
I don't know. I
it's
just
a
think
different
that
vibe.
the colder the weather, the heavier the food gets. So I kind of it kind of matches, right? So the north
Yeah,
of Spain it's more colder than the south, so it's heavier food, and in the south you get more like the gazpacho and the fish probably too, like octopus or whatever, and
yeah.
sardines probably. All the
Yeah, I just think it's
you
also
know
like if you start getting north, it rains more, so people just have to stay home and cook. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, that's true. That's true.
But yeah, here your dad is actually saying Galicia is a good place for food. So you guys have been around Galicia? Because I don't know if your father knows, but my family, my father's family is from Coruña in the north. Because I'm from Granada in the south because of my mother's side, and we grew up here because my father was smart enough to move down here. But yeah, my family's from out there. So have you guys been when you were a kid or something? Because there's a deeper connection in that sense, right? I don't know if the Portuguese people see it in that way as well. But the way we see from Spain is like because Galician language is more similar to Portuguese and all of that, there's like that kind of similarity in that stuff. Is that how you guys see it from Portugal as well? Or?
Yeah, definitely. And my father has been to Galicia before. My father is actually one of the most intelligent, like smartest people I know.
Nice.
He has one of the highest amount of general culture.
Gotcha.
Not like I know math really well. Like I'm an engineer.
Yeah. Nice.
But you can speak about anything, and he'll get a point or two. He'll know what to say. He knows a bunch of facts.
He knows the world.
Yeah, exactly. And has the most amazing like stories to tell.
Oh, awesome.
So and my father loves Galicia. He has like this huge like love about
nice.
The north part of Spain. So definitely has that in there. He probably doesn't understand half of what I'm saying because his English sucks. But yeah.
He get a point or two in there, right? He said awesome Compostela. So there you go. Yeah, but that's awesome. So you guys have been together in Compostela in Santiago?
No, I've never been to Santiago.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But I'm thinking about it.
Okay.
Like one of these days, just if I have to take a walk, I'll just
have a little trek up. I might, because I do want to do it again. Because as I was telling you, I did as a kid, I didn't appreciate it. So maybe I just go through Portugal, I pick you up, and then we walk all the way up. It would be nice. But yeah, in general, it would be a nice pilgrimage for anybody to do. So that's cool. And then let's see, if I go to Spain, I need to visit Toledo. Yeah, some people are talking about Toledo. I've never actually been to Toledo, and I've wanted to visit it. You've been, right? You were the one that was saying that it's a beautiful city, right?
Yeah. I passed by Toledo just there for a day. We went to Madrid by car.
Gotcha.
I went from the Serra da Estrela, which is the snowy mountains of Portugal.
Got it.
To Madrid. It's about a 5-hour drive, and we passed Toledo. We stopped there just for lunch. Love the traditional, typical fortress town with all these old roads and the castle, and a bunch of knife makers and blacksmiths and everything. So it has like this amazing culture. It feels very Gothic,
Yeah. That's kind of how when I hear Toledo, that's what I think. Yeah. Yeah, they're like the good, like the golden century of Spain. Like everybody just carrying a sword or something, and the little like Alatrista hat, and
we just want to grab like a sword and a shield and then head to Jerusalem or whatever.
Yeah, I definitely have to go. And were you in that? Because I know they've set up this like kind of expo area or something in which they recreate like kind of this medieval thing. Did you get a chance to see any of that? Because
I didn't, but you're probably talking about a medieval fair, maybe?
Yeah, something like that. But they made it like a whole park. It's like a medieple park in which they recreated a bunch of stuff.
We didn't go there, but I think I know what you're talking about.
Right. So yeah, I do also want to check that out. But yeah, let me get back a little bit because I'm intrigued about the transition of it, right? So during COVID and everything, you're like, okay, I want to leave the world of law behind, right, and everything. So how did you transition from that to what you're doing now? Is this that you're doing now a transitory thing? Is it, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, kind of a little bit more of who are you now that you've decided, okay, the law is not for me or that world is not for me. What do you have in mind?
So my first step was I left Lisbon and I went to a city a little bit more north called Coimbra, which is one of the oldest,
nice.
One of the oldest cities and one of the oldest universities in Europe. And I studied there for 1 year, but I just had to give up. It just wasn't for me.
Gotcha.
So I had to look something to do. I'm not gonna just stay still and wait for the world to replicate me. And one of the things that back then we were talking about was something to do with quality analyst. But I started getting into it and started looking, and there was a little something called software testing.
Okay.
And I started to dig deeper, and I really liked what I was doing. So I just started, testing random stuff, learning more online, did a couple like courses online and everything. And I figured, okay, I think this is something that I do enjoy. Although right now I'm doing informatics engineer, it's kind of like computer science, but it's the Portuguese name for it, because it's part of engineering and not part
Yeah.
of the science. A bit more practical and less, I guess, theoretical. Um, and I found that maybe I do enjoy more numbers than I do enjoy letters, and I do enjoy more playing with things rather than dealing with people. Although I'm
Oh.
a people's person, I'm someone that loves to talk. I'm always talking, very talkative. I mean, my job nowadays is as tech support, so I do talk all day, and it's just a transitory thing for now. Hopefully, I won't stay here forever. But hey, it pays the bills. I'm at home. I work from home. I get to do what I got to do. So
Yeah.
we
No, I mean, that's a lovely thing. I mean, it's I think like this, I mean, especially, I mean, in America, in the time I've been there, this is kind of this attitude that I don't really like. I mean, I guess I fell into it a little bit of like thinking that everything has to be like kind of this like, I don't know, like you're some type of, like everything has to be very, I don't know how to say, like strambotic or fantastic or something like that. And it's like, that's what I found too, even in my own conversion, that I'm starting to love and appreciate like the smaller things in all respects, like just every step of the process, not as a step towards, not like a kind of like this American kind of, and again, I don't mean to put it in Americans, but like it's because it's part of global culture at this point, this attitude of just you step on one thing, but you're always looking at this very high goal that you kind of just always trying to get there, and you use whatever. And I'm learning like just to be like, no, I love this little part too, and then I know I'll move on from this, like the same way I'll know I'll move on from life. But it's like you learn from it and appreciate it, and you learn to love it and work on it. And I like, for example, this the priest that gives mass here, the parish that I go to, is a really wise old man. Like, but he has the spirit. Like he speaks from the heart every time. And he said a couple of times this thing that has really stuck with me, which is kind of like Christians. I mean, he's talking about Catholics, but in general, Christians, they are the best workers in that sense, because they're so concerned with Christ, and Christ is their center, that working for them is even a joy in the sense, because you're just part of life. You're not, again, the fear kind of goes away, so you're not afraid of, I have to be successful, I have to get there quick. You're just kind of enjoying the process and seeing how it changes you. And it really is true that I see it in the things that I've done, because even, when I was doing engineering, right, and then I was chasing after the engineering dream, and then I was like, oh, this is not for me, and then I'm chasing after the finance dream, and then I'm like, oh, like you were still achieving things, but you're in this anxious state of like always looking forward to like some unknown state, whereas now I feel more like I'm following these steps, I kind of find my way in it, but I enjoy every part of it. So I don't know if you can relate to that with this position that you're in.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then it reminds me a lot of Saint Don José Maria Escrivá, the
Yes. Opus Dei, right? Yeah.
Exactly. But it's the sanctification through work, the sanctification through the daily life.
Yeah.
When you're working as, I don't know, a tech support or a finance, offer your work to God, offer your work to Jesus, offer your work to the saints and to the world, and just think, I am doing I'm doing a job that's
I'm doing a service.
Yeah, exactly. I'm being a servant in some way. I don't need to be like the president to do good. Like the person that's taking care of my children at daycare, or the teacher, or even just the garbage disposal man.
Right.
All of those people, they are servants to the community, they are servants to others. That's what matters. Just the service, the giving. The more you give, the more you receive.
Yes, exactly. And that's what I'm seeing.
I try to keep. So when I'm doing my job, sometimes I'm just, I don't want to do this.
I don't want to do it.
But when I get a response like, "Hey, thank you," just so, and I work with business to business product. So when there's someone that's like, "Oh my God, thank you, Edgar. Because of you, I was able to run my payroll, and all my staff are getting paid, and they got money so they can buy their kids gifts for Christmas." That was something that happened last month, and I was just, glory be to God that I got to fix this problem.
Right, you were part of it, yeah.
I was part of that. I was part of that little kid having a Christmas present.
Yes.
And those little things just build up and just feel so good.
Yes.
And it's just being a servant is the best at the end of the day.
Yeah, and it really is the message, and it's almost like it goes always back, I think, to that fear. It's like, the moment you free yourself from the fear, because I think the fear that people have with that is like, okay, yeah, I like the little things, but if I get lost in the little things, then 10 years from now, 20 years from now, I'm going to be stuck here because they tricked me because of all these little things. And then because of that, they kind of like close themselves to that feeling of you know, feeling fulfilled and helping somebody, because they're like, no, then I gotta keep always looking forward, because if not, I'm gonna get stuck in this like island of illusions, right? But it's like, then what ends up happening is that they're just moving so much that they never get to improve in that sense, or be able to absorb what they're having to be able to kind of move on in a natural way. But when you lose the fear is when it actually happens, is what I've noticed in my life, which is like, you kind of feel like, when you do feel it, like that, you know, this is not kind of like you going somewhere else, but you don't preoccupy yourself with it, and it's kind of like you just let it happen. You're like, okay, well, if I have this feeling in me, like, I think it's Saint Teresa of Lisieux that says it. I mean, I'm sure the saints have said it too, like, if you have an urge or a feeling in you, and you are, you know, putting yourself in God's hands and relying on that, then if that's there, is because the Spirit is pushing in that sense. So the moment you trust that feeling in yourself, that you know, you go, like, if it feels like it's not your place, it's because you get somewhere else. So trust that and let that kind of happen. Then you can enjoy again the moment and be of service, like you're saying, and then you actually move on naturally, and you are able to enjoy that process. And then you see yourself in another spot, in another place, and you're like, wow. It's like growing up kind of thing. Like when you're a kid, you're not thinking, I gotta get somewhere. At least, you know, more and more they're stressing kids with stuff, and like now there's 12-year-olds thinking about their future. But it's like the less you do that, it's kind of, you just let it kind of take you there, your own insight. Because if you have a tendency towards something, that will show, and then people will see, and then it will naturally take a place. But yeah, let me check chat, because I haven't seen it in a while. So I feel that I can teach and support my children, so I need to succeed for them. Yeah, exactly. I see what you mean. Yeah, like, but that fear itself, right, that Chiso has mentioned here earlier, is like, that's kind of where you see that the fear is not gonna help you even achieve it, because it kind of locks you up, which is like, you want to do something that is good, it's well intended. Like, I think even the people that wanna do something like in the future and stuff, or like they want to do something for their life, it's not just that they're being selfish, it's just like they want to do good for their parents, they want to, you know, be of service into the community, but they just, the fear of not achieving that kind of locks them out of it. So yeah, I would say that's what has helped me a lot, to just kind of in any regard get rid of fear and stuff. Say, made it simple with ora et labora. So true. Like, work and pray. Because that's it. Because when you pray, you get the energy from God. And then when you work, you kind of put it out there and you make it reality.
And I think this all comes to just a quote that I've always heard is, and I said this to my priest, and I told him, Father, when I pray, I don't feel anything. And his answer to me was, pray more.
Yep.
The only reason why you're not feeling is because you don't pray enough. And that's true, and up to this day, I still have to pray more, and I wish I prayed more.
Same.
But the thing is, at least from my personal experience, when it comes to trusting God, I've had so many experiences where I wasn't worthy of a good outcome, and He still gave it to me. And it's just crazy. One of the things I can say, for example, is right now I'm engaged, right?
Right.
But she didn't want to be engaged. She didn't want to marry so soon. She was like, oh, I want to marry when we have a house and we have a car and like we have stable jobs. And I was just like, Lord, please, Lord, I don't want to live like this forever. You know, I need to marry as soon as possible so we can become regularized in the eyes of the church and we can be free from sin, so we both can take communion and we can, you know, enjoy all these.
Yeah, be one and build together, right? Yeah,
exactly, and be one and everything. And about 2 months later, she was like, maybe we can get, you know, maybe we should get married. And I was just like, Lord, I didn't deserve this. I know I did because I'm an awful person. At the end of the day, we all kind of are, because we're all sinful and we're all stained by sin, unfortunately. But God came through. He provided. God provides. He does. He does.
And it's like, again, it's like, and I always mess it up. That's why I realize, like, when I don't let God act. So yeah, here we, like, speaking to what Chiso is saying here in chat, I think that's kind of true what you're saying, which is like, just, I mean, you pray about everything, you know. So you say you pray about your kids and the stress and stuff. And I think from my experience, and I think Edgar can also speak to this, is like, just bring it all to God, right? Like everything, like every single thing, and the heavier it is, the more bring it to him. You know, it's like if you're like, oh, I pray about my kids and stuff, but now it's like I gotta figure out these things about my own life and what I want. Because you were talking earlier, you've told us, Chiso, too, about how you know you're much better when you have a direction, and that makes sense. That like all of us, right? Like when we see that we're going somewhere, it feels like, okay, because I've been there, I've been lost at points, and it's like it just feels like you're just in the middle of the sea, like the waves just hitting you, and you feel like you're drowning. So, but the answer to everything, it really is just pray more, because, and not pray more is like, oh, just as a cop out, like, you know, it's like, oh, just that way we don't have to tell you what, it's like, first of all, we don't know, and also you don't even know. It's like, and not you, but like I don't even know what to do with my life. And the more you actually admit to that and give it to God and be like, you know, figure it out for me because I don't know what to do, then things start to work out, like he's saying with his fiance. Or I've had another things in my life, like when I was in the US doing the finance thing, like, you know, we got laid, like I was in finance working and stuff, and I was like, this is not the place for me. Like I felt kind of stuck in a different, obviously, circumstance than you, but in the same feeling of like, I'm in this circumstance in which I don't know how to get out of. I don't know, like you're saying, I don't know how do I find that what you saying earlier, she's like find a way to make money and live for God, right? And you're like, I want to do this thing. These are good things, right? You want to be able to provide for your family, and you want to also live for God. These are good things. Like you tell yourself when you're praying, okay, I look at this, and this is good in the eyes of God. There's no partiality to it. So then when you bring that to God, it's like, how is God going to deny that? Like, doesn't he say in the gospel, like, if you ask for a fish, am I going to give you a stone? You know what I'm saying? Or am I going to give you a snake when you ask for bread? So it's that. It's like trust in that, and then keep bringing it to him. Because again, with what I was saying earlier, like when I was in the US and I was stuck in finance, through like they laid me off, and I felt so free, because it's like I knew that it wasn't because of my performance. It's just they needed to choose somebody. I mean, obviously, I must have been worse than somebody else because I chose me. But like that's not the point. Is that then events happen that you end up finding the gratefulness for it, and you find it takes you somewhere. Like for example, Edgar with COVID, right? It could be kind of similar thing, which it was something that I bet at the moment you were like, wow, it took me away from all these like things, the routines, and enjoying my friends. But then you see the light at the end of that because you were praying. You were already in conversation with God. And then you just wait for things to happen. And the hard thing is waiting, right, Edgar? Like, just be like, okay, let me trust.
And it's just, the timing is not yours. You know, we're not the center. We don't need to work at, oh, run this, or I deserve this, or I need this now. What I try to think just is whatever, as long as I have faith, and as long as I'm in good conscience, and I do my life as a Catholic, I'll be okay. Yeah. I'm not of this world. Our reign is not from this world. When it ends, it ends. Yeah. This is just a little bit of life. Right. When we are in communion with God in the afterlife, right, nothing will matter. Nothing. We'll just spend our eternity glorifying Him until the resurrection, and we'll be okay. Like, why does it matter that, oh, I didn't finish law school? Yeah. Okay, I'm not saying we should give up on life in the sense that we should. No, right. But we should just face it more as, I'll trust in God, and I'll make sure that I'm in good standing with God, because I know that He'll provide for me, and even if what I'm getting is not what I think I deserve or I want, it's the best for me. Yeah. What I want, because God is giving me the tools to further become closer to Him and to one day be in communion with Him. We don't know. Maybe if I finished law school, I was going to be a terrible person. I was going to backstab everyone. Right. You don't know. That's the thing. And everything. And if you stayed in finance, you would be, laundering more criminal.
No, I feel like I would. Like, I really feel like I would have turned worse and worse.
I'd really rather be in tech support for the rest of my life and end up in communion with God than be the best lawyer ever and have like millions of euros or whatever. Like, it's meaningless at the end of the day. You just gotta trust. So it's all about trust, and it's hard to trust, and it is. Yeah, it is. As Jesus said, you believe because you see. Blessed are those.
Yeah, blessed are those that believe without seeing. Right.
Seeing, exactly. Yeah, to Saint Thomas, I believe. Right.
Yeah, I think it is to the doubter. Yeah, but yeah, like
when he fell to Jesus' knees.
But yeah, no, exactly. I think, and I think I think Chiso, like from when I see him interacting with him, and you've interacted with him too in the community, and from what he's saying, it's like I think he's just on the right. It's just at that point, which is, and we've all been there, which is when you're in the midst of it, even you're praying for it, and it kind of feels like I'm doing it. It's like I'm praying, I'm asking God, but it's like it's not happening. But it's kind of that like the timing is not yours. So just yeah, I mean, like again, just all we can say, and again, I know that this is not like you asking us or anything like that. It's more, but we're all sharing here, and is that like from our experiences and from my experience, I can speak about like it's just like when I've been in those positions, and there's no way out of that feeling, like in that sense, like it's again the human like corruption, weakness, or whatever. Like the same way we fall for sin, knowing like I don't know what Saint was saying. That's like even though I know the right thing, that the thing that I should do, I still don't do it. It's kind of the same thing. Even though I know that God is gonna take care of me, when I'm in the midst of the storm, like the disciples when they're in the boat and they wake up Jesus, like they saw him walking on water, it's like or they, well, I mean the walking on water happens just after whatever, but like they saw him raise up dead, like sick people, and still the storm comes and they just freak out. So it's kind of like it's normal that happens, to just also be okay with that, be okay. Like
Yeah.
my priest also told me is that like don't get scandalized by your own sin. It's kind of the same thing. Don't get scandalized by the fact that you feel like this is not working, like I feel desperate, like things should be different. Just be in that feeling and wait, like just wait and keep doing like that, keep doing, keep trying to find out what to do the next day as you pray, and like, okay, what's the next step? But it's like, I think it's like what Edgar is saying is very valuable, which is, just be in good standing with God, just be a friend to God, and then just continue to do that because he's a friend to you first, I'm saying? Like, it's not like it's an exchange or anything like that, but it's kind of like, it's just in a matter of gratitude. It's just like, and I see how it can be. Yeah, giving up control is my hardest task. Yeah, to all of us, man. So it's so hard. Every day I have to like kind of keep myself in check to not try to just rebel and just I want to do things my way. I know better. And then I do it, and then I'm like, messed it up again. Because inside of you it's kind of like just rely more, right? I get like it changes your life when you do, but it's a daily task, right?
Yeah, and it's like a focal point that you mentioned. I think it's very important to repeat is when you do sin and you do feel like, oh, I failed or I'm ashamed. That's the devil talking.
Yeah. The
That's
accuser.
it's the good old, oh, do it. You won't feel bad, I promise. And then afterwards he's like, there's no coming back, but there is a coming back, and that's like our like that's what being a Christian is all about, right? It's
Yeah.
about we are filled with flaws
Yeah.
and we are only good in Christ. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. You just gotta say, okay, I've been trying my best, I've been failing, I didn't trust the Lord or whatever it is, and bring it out to him. Just say, Lord, I know that I'm not trusting you. I know that I'm not. You can even say like, please, Lord, make me capable of trusting you. Soften
Yeah.
my heart.
Yeah, even that, exactly. Even that part. If that's the challenge now, that you cannot even trust, or you have so much shame, take this shame away from me. Make me trust. Yeah. Everything. Just he just wants to carry it. Yeah.
Yeah, a
It's
lot of things that I used to pray about were mostly that was like, God, make me want to pray more. God, make me humble.
give me more
Please,
faith, right?
please
Yeah.
give me more faith. Exactly. And whenever you're like, oh, I shouldn't pray about this, just do it. Just do it. The meme, the Shia LaBeouf meme, just do it.
Just do it. Just do
Bro,
it. Yeah. And he did it. Like have you heard like his recent development and stuff? I mean, he did a movie about Padre Pio. Padre Pio
yeah.
stuff? Yeah. Very interesting. If you guys don't know about Padre Pio, they say, I mean, there's an older movie that maybe it's a little bit more, you could give you a better idea of his life and stuff. But this movie with Shia LaBeouf of him playing Padre Pio is very interesting depiction of, because he was a great saint of our recent times. Like he had like what is that called? You know what it's called when they have the wounds of Christ?
Stigmata.
The stigmata, right? Stigmata, right?
Stigmata, yeah.
Yeah, and then like bilocation and stuff. Like not that like again, these are where like shocks us about the saint. That's kind of like the cool stuff. But the reality and the beauty of it is their faith, and that translates into these shows and signs and stuff. But like it was a man of great faith. I'm very tempted. So it's kind of like, anyway, this not to sidetrack the conversation, which is very interesting, but yeah, it's like just do it. And look at Shia LaBeouf. He did it. Like he trusted, and now he's much happier than he was, and he let God take care of things. But yeah. Let's see a little bit here. This chat is moving fast, and it's like very interesting. So I don't want to miss it, but it's also kind of hard. Yeah, Lou Monster here is saying, I feel like I have to go to church and skip school. Do both. ¿Por qué no los dos? ¿Por qué no los dos? Do both. Go to school. I mean, do what you think is right, but think in don't let your emotions drive you away from school, but find your way forward. But definitely go to church, right? Like, and that's one thing now that from whatever we're saying that reminds me, which is like a beautiful part of the Catholic truth, and let me say put it that way, but obviously in respectful terms, but like is the fact that through communion we take identity with Christ. It's not through our actions, it's just by taking communion we literally eat the body of Christ and drink his blood. And you know what they say, you are what you eat. And like, I know it's a funny like way to like look at this, but it is the truth. Like by taking part, that's the point of communion, the fact that we eat his body so that he can be inside of us by grace alone. Like, and obviously, those stuff why the church tells you, you gotta go to confession and you gotta have a contrite spirit and you gotta do it in faith, because it's just a matter of respect, like you eating Christ himself. But even, in the sense like, you have confessed your sins, but that doesn't, it doesn't make them disappear. It makes them forgiven, but you still did those things, and still God wants to inhabit you and give you a new identity so that you cannot sin. So that definitely go to church in whatever respect. Like it's not just prayer at home, which is very important, but if you go to communion, like the Eucharist is the most important sacrament of our religion because of that, because it's a real thing. It becomes, God himself comes down from heaven, he becomes, well, it's not like it becomes bread and wine. He turns water and bread and wine into his body and blood, and you are able to partake of it, so that regardless of how weak you are, regardless of how your tendency to sin, regardless of all of that, you can now let Christ himself inhabit you so that he can make you better. Again, so he can carry the load, so he can show you the way. So that, and all these things that like I used to think they sound so poetic, like sound like allegorical, but once you start living it, you see that it's literally that. He literally shows you the way. He literally takes the load, like literally, and it's wild to me. Like, and I bet for you it was because I can see it in your eyes and the way you speak that you experience those things too, which is like, it's mind-blowing. Like that's the joy of being Christian when you actually live. It's like, it's mind-blowing how literal it actually is, right?
Gabriel, I was medicated for 1.5 years for depression. I was diagnosed with major depression, and that was one of the main reasons why I started looking to religion as well. I'm not gonna lie, but God does use all evil in the world if he wants to lead us into him, and we know that. So and when I started thinking about it, I actually got to a point where I started thinking about, I've read the Bible before becoming Catholic, right?
Right.
But the thing was, I read the Bible, I read the Quran, and I read the Torah.
Oh wow.
I read all the three main ones. I'm not going to say I did a Bible study or a Torah study.
No, I never even read the Torah or the Quran, so
then
yeah.
quite like maybe not as detailed as most scholars.
No, you
obviously,
read it. Yeah, you read it. Yeah.
But the thing is, and I started thinking about it, and then at first, and I think I've told you this, but at first I was thinking about, and back then was a lot of political movement about it too, about Islam and how traditional it was, and how it was, and truth be told, the Islamic culture is very God-driven, way more than the Christian culture nowadays, right? But I did have dreams with Our Lady, which was super fun. So I had a whole week dreaming with Our Lady.
Wait, can you say that again? I didn't quite hear. You said you had dreams what?
About Our Lady.
Oh,
so
really?
I had a whole week, with Our Lady of Fatima, and she was just like telling me like, why are you doing this? Like, you're betraying your culture, you're betraying your faith, like you're betraying yourself. And I was just like, what?
Like, what is this? Yeah.
Why is this?
What?
And so for a whole week that happened, and I just woke up one day and I started reading the Bible, and I started like searching more and more and more, and that was like the gateway.
Wow.
And the thing is, once that happened, about 6 months after, I was already in a ton of like online communities, like on Reddit and forums and like Instagram, and I was like giving like this whole, not speeches but text, like taking questions from people and whatever about like the sacraments and what I gotta do and what I gotta do. Like I wasn't even like thinking about RCIA or catechism
Right.
yet. And God did save me. I stopped medication, and although obviously sometimes I'm not gonna say I feel depressed because depression is a long-term
Right.
status,
You feel
but
down, right?
yeah, or when I feel down or I feel anxious, for example, when I went to work for the first time or whatever, all I gotta say is, Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner. Please be with me, Lord, and everything's gonna be okay. Like, what do I care about it? Like, if God is with me,
Yeah,
who's
yeah,
against,
yeah, exactly. Really, the free
against
from
me, right?
fear, right? Yeah.
And that experience was very wild because it was so quick the way it happened. So I went from being
Right, it's like
not,
radical. Right?
I went from being anti-taste, like
Yeah.
against God, because I used to do way JTs and videos and debating people. I used to debate my parents all the time about it and ask like, oh, if God is omnipotent, why doesn't He create a rock so large, not even Himself can lift?
Right. The
Like, which
points, the
was
points.
the
There's always points.
ridiculous thing ever, like, and and then one day I just woke up, and my fiance is always telling this story. I woke up, I went up to her and a friend. We used to live all together, and I told her, I'm Catholic now.
There you
Just
go.
straight up, I'm Catholic. Like one morning, and she started bursting out laughing, laughing. And I was like, no, I'm serious. I'm Catholic now. I want to go to
Damn,
mass
that's amazing,
on
bro.
Sunday. My parents, although they are not Catholic, my parents are not Catholic. They went on and they bought me a
Oh
little cross,
wow.
everything. They bought me like saints. I have Saint Michael the Archangel. I have an Our Lady of
Wow.
Fatima and everything. They bought me a statue of Saint John the Baptist baptizing Christ,
Wow.
and forged iron and everything.
That's amazing.
So I do, and I'm lucky to have all these people around me that do lift me up, and they do carry me around as well, helping me in my faith. Although some of them are not Catholic, and all this was just so crazy because I'm gonna be honest, I don't even remember half of it. I just remember being held down. I remember being depressed, and then having those dreams. And then, like a year later, I was talking about going to RCA, and now I'm getting baptized in April, and I'm getting married in October, and I'm here, doing a Catholic talk show now. Um,
Yeah.
so it's
It's a
crazy.
journey, right? Oh,
It's
thank you for the follow, Mark. And but yeah, no, that's mind blowing because it's like that reminds me. Have you know the show The Chosen?
Yeah. I've been trying to get my fiance to watch it for ages
Yeah, I
now.
mean, yeah. I tried to make my ex watch, and then I mean, obviously, well, that was I guess a sign.
That's why it
No,
didn't
but
work out.
what?
That's why it didn't work
Yeah,
out.
exactly. So
Which
I'm glad. I'm glad. I'd stay with the
no,
show. No, but it's a good show and everything. I recommend to anybody, and like it's really well done. It's a good introduction to kind of Jesus and the Gospels from a very much more leveled perspective, I guess. But this a point. I don't know. So you've seen the whole show, kind of, or whatever is the latest, or
I was the first
I think in the first
what's it
season
called?
is where it shows up. You remember when
Yeah.
Mary Magdalene, like I think that priest, like that Jewish priest, is talking to
Yeah.
her, and then
Nicodemus. Yeah.
yeah, Nicodemus, right? Because the guy that first went to try to expel the demons from her, right? And now he
Yeah.
finds her like doing great, and he asks her, and she's like, "I don't know." She's like, "I just remember that I was in the terrible place, and now I'm in a great place, and in between was Christ." And I felt that too, and I hear that with what you're saying. It's just that it's like I don't
That's
quite
so good.
understand how the hell I ended up because I feel the same too sometimes. Like, what am I doing here? Doing this show in this Cordero Católico, like very like religious and stuff. Like I'm like I didn't like. First of all, it's kind of, it almost like it's obviously it's not like I felt tricked, but it's kind of like in that sense like I feel led, but led in a good
Yeah.
place, and I'm in a better place. But I feel led in the sense like I didn't decide this. Like I didn't decide to be here, but I love it here. But I'm like, what? Like, if somebody told me 3 years ago, 5 years ago that I would be doing this, I would be like, what are you talking about? Like, that makes no sense to me. Like, not even like I refused. Like, oh, like even if I was okay, that would be a cool thing. I would be like, no, but that's just how, like, how things connect to get me to this point. But then exactly,
Yeah.
but then you look back, you're like, what? I don't know how I got here, but I know that I was I felt like shit at here. Sorry for cursing. Then Jesus happened, and then I'm in this place, and I feel great. And I don't know how I got here, but yeah, I just want to keep. And then you have that experience of faith, and you just were like, okay, Jesus, keep taking me somewhere else because I don't know where we're
Yeah.
going. But this is amazing.
Exactly, and it was a whole trip because at first I was living with my fiance in the mountains, as I said, the snowy mountains of Portugal.
Uh-huh.
And I talked with a priest there, and he didn't answer me about starting catechism so I could get baptized. And then I spent another year trying to talk with a priest back home, trying to get baptized. It just wasn't working out. I was feeling so demotivated. I was like, I'm never getting baptized, man, because I'm never in one place, like staying in one place for long
Yeah,
enough.
yeah, yeah.
And then my fiance actually called. She wanted to get confirmed,
Uh-huh.
and she got confirmed last year. Blessed be God. Right now, glory to God. God is already blessed. But and so she called her catechist, and she was like, the catechist, because she knew her already, because it's a small, super small town where she's from. It's like 2,000 people maybe.
Uh-huh.
So and she called. It was like, oh, I get confirmed, and my boyfriend wants to be
Baptized.
baptized, and she just came to me. She was like, "Oh, we're studying catechism like 2 weeks from now." I was like, "Hey, wait,
Yeah,
wait,
what?
wait, what? Really?" I was like, "Oh, like, yes, let's go!" And so she got confirmed last year, and now I'm getting baptized in April.
In
But
April.
it's I feel
Nice.
like that. It's like Christ came to me and said, "I know your name. I know,
Yes.
I know your name. Come, just leave
Yes.
it up
He
behind."
calls you by your
And that's
name. Yeah, because he calls you by your name. Of course he knows us. He's got. So one second here, because we have Mark Kane.
that. I'm remembering now. Yeah,
Yeah,
just
there you go. We have here Mark of Kane saying, "Proud of you, my brother, and my wedding best man." This is somebody you know? Oh, okay,
that's my
awesome,
brother.
awesome,
The
awesome.
brother, he's the one that's just had a kid. So
Awesome, congratulations. Oh, this is wait, you said your actual brother. I thought it was like brother, like we say, like my brother, like my. Oh, this is your brother. Congratulations. Yeah. We pray for your son and stuff at the end of Sims and stuff. But yeah, congratulations. What's the name? I don't think you told us the name, right? Or
So
you
his
don't
name is Thomas, and the son is Oliver. So
Oliver.
all
Yeah,
praise to
Oliver.
Oliver.
Awesome.
All
Awesome.
praise to
So
Oliver.
congratulations and welcome, Oliver. And then we also have here Zons. He's a Catholic Edgar. He loves to make this pun to me because I titled the streams Catholic something. So yeah, we
Yeah.
got Catholic, soon to be Catholic Edgar. Technically,
Yeah, I'm not Catholic yet.
until April. But yeah, welcome here, Zons. We've been having a great conversation and stuff. Zons will be the. His name is Johnny, and then we'll be having him next week for this very same show. So this is gonna be fun. I'm already having a lot of fun. How are you enjoying this? You liking it?
I'm talkative, man. I could talk all day, especially if we're talking about faith and experiences.
Yeah.
That's for me,
No,
it's
and
amazing.
it's great to hear all this. So I guess one question I would like to ask, and again, obviously, as we say, like God is gonna lead us to something, but we also kind of feel so. And again, you can answer this in however vaguely you want or whatever. But like, how do you think? And again, this is not like an interview question, but what do you kind of see yourself in 5 years? I know that sounds like a stupid question, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like kind of like, yeah. What do you see in your life? I mean, obviously you'll be married with your lovely fiance and you'll be Catholic and stuff. But it kind of like, yeah, what do you think? And obviously this doesn't tell you to do anything because God is going to decide for you and everything. But what do you think God is leading you in that sense? Even if it's in a very vague way. Like what is, because for example, just to put my meat in the grill, right? I myself feel like when I was, do you hear me? Because I think I lost you here. You hear me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, awesome. So when I started kind of my journey of conversion, I felt this like kind of call to, I didn't know how to make it concrete, but I felt like I was called to be a messenger in some sense. And also I had that connection with my name of Gabriel and stuff. Like in some sense, I went to be a messenger, which makes me to this point of like creating video games. So even this Twitch thing, which again, I didn't plan it that way, but now I see myself, and then I get it tatted on my back. It just says messenger across like the back here. That's like just the way I approach these things. I'm not, but that kind of like at that moment, I didn't know what shape it would take. And I still feel like it will take some shape, but I don't know what it is. But I do feel that calling, that's kind of my vocation in that sense. Like I also feel a calling to have a family, so I feel that vocation towards that. But I feel a vocation of messenger. So that as kind of like my kind of offering of what I mean with this question. Like it doesn't have to be like, oh, God wants me to be this and this. It's more like, do you feel some type of vocation like that in that sense? And if not, it's like, sometimes it's not like that at all. But yeah, just curious.
Yeah, no, obviously. I mean, there are three main things that I hope to be in the next 5 years. I hope to be a father,
Uh-huh.
and I hope to be a husband, and I hope to be someone that's helping the Catholic community and sentiment grow in Portugal.
Nice.
Uh, So definitely, I feel that that's my calling. If that's true, imagine maybe you'll be a messenger through your games and through your applications or through a stream. There's so many ways and so many paths that we can take. The same way, I hope to be a father because I feel like that's one of my callings, and my fiance agrees. We both really want to be parents. I do want to be a husband because that is my calling in the sense of the church,
Right,
right?
right, right, right.
So I'm not. Although I did think about for a little while to become a Franciscan priest,
Oh,
but
interesting.
I told my fiance like if this doesn't work out, I'll be a Franciscan priest. Just let you know. I told her right away. So being a father, a husband, and imagine if being someone that helps the community be someone with a I don't know a billion followers on Instagram, or if I'm just someone that's doing catechism to 5-year-olds at my local parish,
Yeah.
whatever it will be. I just want to be part of the community. I want to be part of the Catholic Church as a physical means, and not only obviously spiritual is the most important
Yeah,
because
yeah,
that's
but being part of the physical church in that sense.
exactly part of the physical church, and put my hands on, be a volunteer and be someone that's a face. I think that's the main thing. It's to become a vessel
Mm-hmm.
to everything that if God wants to put something out there, then I'll have the honor to be one of the people that he chooses to speak his word, to
Yeah.
to uh, to help him bring his goals to life. And
Yeah.
that's just all I want. If I'm not, I'm not.
Right.
I'll be happily a husband and and a father, and that's great. I mean that was exactly what Saint Joseph was, right? He didn't speak a single word during in the Bible. There's not a single
Right, right,
word
right. He's
written
just
by Saint Joseph. He's
doing
just
a yeah, but he was there and a crucial part. Yeah.
heavenly father to Christ, and he's an amazing husband to Our Lady, and that's exactly how every single man should aim to be, right?
That's amazing. Yeah. Yeah. I aim to be that too. I mean, and I'm realizing more of that too. It's like, it is the best, like the little way, like also like Saint Teresa of Lisieux. It's always the things that are hidden in the little things to the human eyes that are the greatest in God's eyes, because that really is
Yeah.
what makes the difference. And it's like, we always look, I think my priest, again, this is this very wise priest that gives the masses in my parish, says that again, like we as humans think of great things and great works, but really what God wants is, because the proportions doesn't work that way really, is that which we see to be small but it's huge. And again, if you think of the great saints that we remember, they're very like simple people, like, what I'm saying, they just really gave their life, like they really said yes. And then if you look at them in the moment, it looked like they weren't doing much, but then they are the ones that did them, like Saint Francis, right? He's one of the most known, Saint Francis of Assisi, one of the most known saints, right? And what he did wasn't that, like, he wasn't writing treaties. He's like, let me just help people around me. I don't want anything else. I just want to help the people around me, and let me build some churches here and there. Like, like he's just doing the next thing, and he's not, and that is what creates the biggest mark. But now we're going to get to our little, we got like about 10 minutes left, and then we're going to do a little, I'm going to try this thing that I thought would be a cool idea to end this segment. It's like on a little like fun, creative segment. So here, since we have our friend Edgar, he works in support in IT. So we're gonna act a little bit out, like as if he's the support in IT from heaven, right? So I want Chad here to help me out too. I'm gonna try to come up with some complaints here, some things to just try to figure out. It doesn't have to be a complaint. Maybe I don't know how life works. So Edgar is gonna try to help us out on how to figure out things in life. And
This reminds me of Saint Peter. I don't know if you guys in Spain or in America can say the same thing, but when it starts to rain, people are like, "Oh, Saint Peter, open the tap," or when it rains, we say, "Oh, Saint Peter, open the window." So it's complaining to Saint Peter, the weather sucks.
So exactly, you're gonna be on St. Peter's watch tonight. So yeah, we're just gonna be with. So if anybody on chat wants to thinks of something that they would need some help from IT support in heaven, we can figure it out. Okay, so here already we got Mel shooting. My knees keep hurting on the pews. Please send hotfix for pain. So how are we gonna resolve that?
Oh, first of all, that's a skill issue. Let's be honest. If you walked on your knees through Fatima, you'll be stronger by the end of it.
Okay.
But okay, let's be cool. Just bring a pillow. It's all okay. Don't care. You can bring a pillow. You can bring a little blanket to mass.
There we go.
I still have people with blankets in mass. if I was old, I would also bring a blanket to mass, but I don't think it fits with my swag, my all these amazing works that I have doing mass. Uh, but just bring a little blanket. You'll be famous.
All right, so either the blanket or the Fatima upgrade. So maybe you just gotta go to the Fatima to get your upgrade on your knees, and then we'll be fine. Okay, then we have Chizo. I think my brain has stopped working. How can I find it again?
Well, you don't need a brain to pray. You just need your heart. So that's what you got to do. You got to pray a lot. Pray to Saint Joseph Cupertino.
There we
One
go.
of my favorite things too. Saint Joseph Cupertino was not me saying it. This is history. He supposedly was very dumb and he didn't know how to write or read. But he prayed that he wanted to become a priest. He became a priest, and now he's the patron saint of students. He's also known because he used to levitate. So it's really fun because there's a story that he used to levitate and little children would run after him giggling. And the fun thing about this is that this is actually something that's historically written down. So there's a bunch of stories.
There's historical records of him levitating.
Exactly. So it's a great perplexity of a miracle there that a lot of non-Catholics study as well. So Saint Joseph of Cupertino for you, Chizo, so you can get your brain back maybe.
There we go. Taken resolved. You just gotta pray more. Fix your heart and your brain will follow. Can I just leave a good review? Yeah, Mark here wants to leave a good review for the tech support. I guess that's a little bit of cheating. I would call that a conflict of interest coming from finance. So I don't know. Can I speak to the manager, please?
Don't worry about it.
Chizo wants to speak to the manager. I just have a question really. At the foundational level, why don't we have wings? Like, why do the birds get the wings and we don't get the wings?
Well, that's very simple. So this is something everyone in heaven tech support. Okay, God did try to give wings to humans, but they flew too close to the sun because they're really dumb.
I heard of that guy.
You've heard of that guy, right?
That guy messed us up, man.
maybe he hadn't.
Yeah, damn Icarus, man. It's funny, speaking of that, my friend, the Greek friend that I was telling earlier, he's from Icaria, which is the island in Greece where the legend says that Icarus fell down when his wing burned. Yeah, you blame Icarus, there you go. St. Anthony, please come around, something is lost and must be found. Oh, look at that. We're already calling St. Anthony? No, we have here Edgar is going to help us find everything that we've lost. Mark, do you have anything you want to resolve with IT from heaven? We got him here on the line. It's one in a lifetime opportunity to figure out our issues.
Hello, this is Edgar from Heaven Support. How can I help you?
Let's see. What else? I mean, another thing that I would like to figure out is, why is it that there was I think it was Saint Teresa, the one Saint Teresa of Jesus or something. She was saying, which is like, why is it so tough? Why can't we just have an easy life? Why do we have to do so much? You know what I'm saying? Like, why do we have to work so hard?
Well, so in our first update back in the days, we had developers, called Adam and Eve, and they kind of messed up with the new iPhone. That's why
I heard, that was Eden 2.0, right? That we had it like all set up, like after 7 days, they did like that 7-day update.
And so she did the wrong push request to GitHub and it started getting like viruses and stuff. And now it's like spaghetti code, and we can fix it. I mean, we can fix it. We have like a sysadmin. He's like a really cool guy called Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. And sometimes he comes through and does a little something for us. But in the end, we will be okay. We have a perfect program. No worries about it, guys.
The big update is coming, right? The second coming update.
The road is ending.
Oh, awesome. So that's where the bugs come from. I was like, why are there so many bugs in life? It's because of that git push, right? She just pushed into main.
Yeah. He has like a vulnerability, called being really dumb. No, I'm just kidding. No, but he...
Okay, so Chizo's asking, which is relevant to this update thing and this bug, who let the snake in the garden? Like, what happened there? Did you guys were not looking around from support, or was that a cybersecurity issue here? Should we talk to the cybersecurity department?
Have you guys ever heard of the 10X engineer? There's a common term in computer science that we call 10x engineer. Is the guy that has his hoodie on in the dark place, just typing code all day. Like if you
Okay.
open it, he'll start screaming, and he'll say like that you're really dumb. So we had one of those, and he was like really prideful,
Uh,
and we really hated our very
uh,
humble sysadmin. So yeah, he chose to plant the bug there. It was an inside
ah.
job.
Okay, in all fairness to our Eve, she didn't really mess all everything up.
Yeah,
It was just this hacker kind of put everything in place for her to mess up
yeah,
the push, right?
yeah.
Okay,
It
now
was
things make more sense. Because
social
I was feeling
engineering.
bad for the lady. What?
Social engineering.
Ah, damn. They say that's the most effective hacking, right? Social
Yeah,
engineering.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's see if we got another few ones to finish this section, but actually it kind of worked out. This is kind of fun. I like it. I'm so addicted to my computer. How do I not become addicted to my computer? There we go. What do we do?
First of all, you go and you buy a Minecraft and you start a Catholic Minecraft server, and then when you're in your computer, just giving it back to God, so it's all good.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah,
Solved.
it's your Minecraft.
Solved. Let's see. What are the rapid fire? I'm having trouble with the free will feature. It seems to clash with divine plan feature. Is there a compatibility update to download to make free will and divine plan to work together?
That's a tricky part. You are only worth of something if you do it because you want, right? So free will is the path to loving God. We have to choose to love God. We have to choose to deny the bugs and the virals and the pop-up ads and the local ladies that are looking for you, and you have to stay
Ah.
focused on the website.
So it's a matter of how you use the free will feature and you will get to the
Yeah,
divine plan.
it's truth. It is that can be love without free will. So
Awesome.
there we
Awesome.
go.
Let's see, we got a few more. Well, we got here that Mark wants a second coming update teaser. I know where to find that one actually. This you gotta go to your local church and just get the teaser there. Every day they give it. This is called communion. And you can have it every day. Sundays they say is the best one, is the when is the heaviest update one. But you can have that teaser pretty much every day until the update kind of releases. Okay, what else?
We also have
Uh-huh.
like a future update version called the Bible.
Oh,
There's a book in the
I've
end
heard of
of
that one.
Revelations.
Okay.
Yeah, really good, really good, really good. It's the roadmap, our developer roadmap.
What should I do when people come into my stream who just want to fight about Catholicism? All right, we gotta end soon, but yeah, let's see.
That's super simple. You just say, Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on us. We don't know what we're doing, and please, Holy Spirit, enter this person's heart so they can come back home, come back to communion with the church. Because we do not actually evangelize anyone. We just plant the seed and let the Lord do the rest.
There
So,
you go.
guys,
All right, we got a few more, but we're gonna have to cut it short here to be able to end the show in the right timing. So yeah, that's that. It's been great. I mean, did you have a good time, Edgar?
have an amazing time.
Awesome. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I had a great time, and now I mean, just to give a closing here to our people watching on YouTube and stuff. This has been our first show of Divinely Human with our beloved Edgar from Portugal. This has been great. We've heard from all sorts of parts from his life, from his conversion, from his views of faith and stuff, and yeah, I've had a great time. It's really great to get to know him and put a face to him, and now we'll be doing this segment every Thursday. So Thursday at 10 p.m. Spanish time, which is GMT +1. We have this Thursday, this show called Divinely Human. Next week we'll be having Zons. His name is Johnny, and another guy that I've met thanks to this community, who has also a very interesting story, very different too in its way. He's from Florida, and he's been involved in venture capital, and he's had his startup, and he has a family with 3 children. So it's gonna be a completely different world, which is the beauty of this show, is just showing how all of us as humans, we all have a very different story, but all of us have a divine beauty in us, a divine being, just waiting to just come out, and Christ comes to save us and show it out. But, it doesn't, what I'm saying, it always kind of, you can see it, no matter what, you can always see that beauty in people, no matter what stage they're in. And yeah, that's what we do this on Thursdays. The rest of what we call the evening shows that we do at that same time. On Mondays, we have what is called the book, which we read through the Bible as a community, and we just kind of discuss it slowly. There's no rush. We're not trying to get ahead of anything. And then on Tuesdays, we have live words, similar setup, but we're reading works of literature, of classic literature. We read it in English, but it doesn't have to be English literature. In this case, we're right now going through Paradise Lost, which is an epic poem by John Milton. It's a beautiful work of English language, and it's about kind of the fall of men. In this case, it is related, not, it won't always be related to religion, but in this case, it's kind of a story, an epic poem of, you know, the struggle between Satan and the angels for the soul of man, and then how man gets corrupted and falls into sin. And but all told in very beautiful English with beautiful images. On Wednesday, we have Spanish stream, which is Span-English. Spanglish streaming, which we read through a work of literature, of Spanish literature, in this case, La vida es sueño, de Calderón de la Barca, Life is a Dream, but it's from what is called the golden century of Spanish culture, and it's a Baroque, he's kind of the Shakespeare of Spain, and it's a beautiful work of literature. It's a play, and we read through it. We read it in Spanish, and we translate it as we go, and we kind of flesh out the language and the images and stuff. On Thursdays, again, we have Divinely Human, and on Fridays, which will be tomorrow, we'll have our first show with my friend Evan from Wreckfish Capital, and we just do equity analysis, which is what I used to do professionally before I started this whole journey of making video games and apps and streaming. And it's basically analyzing public stocks, public companies in the markets, and looking at them as businesses and as financial opportunities, and analyzing them and discussing them. But it's gonna be a very chill experience. You know, we'll probably use terms that you might not know, but we'll, you know, anybody's open to ask questions, and we'll explain everything. We're not in a rush. Again, we're just gonna be chatting. We're like two guys that love to talk about companies. We're gonna get together and talk with you guys about the companies we're interested in this Friday. And I don't know if we'll be able to do the whole company this Friday, or we'll continue, but we'll start with Warner Brothers Entertainment, Warner Brothers Discoveries, I think it's called, or Discovery. And it's basically just the good old Warner Brothers that you all know, the movies and the video games and all that IP. So yeah, that's what we do on evenings. During the day, or what is my day, like earlier, from Monday through Friday, I just right now I'm developing Rosarium, which is a gamification of the rosary, let's put it that way. And it's basically an app, and it's just kind of me working and talking to people, and talking to the people that show up from the community. And then on Saturdays, it's just video games, you know. I don't play video games until the weekend, so I can stay focused, but I love video games. So when that Saturday hits, I'm just playing games all day. So that's what I do here. Right now, we just did a walkthrough of Outer Wilds, and it was a lot of fun. And right now, we've been playing Europa 4, which was very complicated at the beginning, but now that I've gotten into it, thanks to one of our community members, F1, he from Norway, I think he's a big fan of the game. He convinced me to get it, and he explained to me how it works, and now we're having a lot of fun, and we are commanding, obviously, Spain after the end of conquering of the whole peninsula, and now we just discovered America, and we're trying to see what we can do. And I know, I cannot avoid it, but go back with Spain. Edgar is laughing here. So anyway, thank you everybody, and this calls the end of the video, and thank everybody from YouTube. If you know, share whatever you feel in the comments, as I always say, and Shakespeare said, you know, life is a stage, the world is a stage. So just play your part, and don't be afraid to share. You know, if you think I sound dumb, just tell me. If you think I'm stupid, tell me. If you think I'm great, tell me too. Just say whatever you feel like. You just share it. Don't feel afraid about it. That's what we're here for, to just share in this world. So thank you everybody, and God bless you all.